What if I told you monsters are real and they've been caught on camera? From crocs longer than buses to a bird with talons the size of a grizzly's claws, these are the 40 biggest creatures ever filmed. Some are majestic, some are terrifying. All of them? Absolutely massive. Let's dive in. Number 40. Lolong the crocodile. Kicking off our list is a real-life dragon. Lolong, the largest crocodile ever recorded. Captured in the Philippines back in 2011, this saltwater beast stretched over 20 feet and weighed more than 2,300 pounds, longer than a school bus, heavier than a small car. It took 100 people in a crane just to transport him. Lolong was a Guinness World Record holder and a local legend, a king of the swamp and the stuff of nightmares. 39. Odin the liger. Next up is something straight out of a fantasy novel, Odin the liger. Half lion, half tiger, and all beast, Odin stands over 10 feet tall on his hind legs and weighs nearly 900 pounds. He and his brother, Hercules, are the largest cats alive. Ligers don't exist in the wild, only in captivity, but with their size and power, they look like royalty among predators. 38. Timberwolf. At number 38, we meet a wolf that makes even bears look twice. This massive timber wolf, filmed in Yellowstone, casually strolls across a 2-lane road, dwarfing the markings like a boss. Most timber wolves grow to 6 feet and weigh under 200 pounds. But this one? It looks like something out of Game of Thrones, a real-life dire wolf. 37. Whale shark. Let's head underwater for a moment. Meet the whale shark, the largest fish alive. These giants can stretch up to 46 feet and weigh over 41,000 pounds. Despite their size, they're gentle plankton eaters. Peaceful, slow-moving, and often seen swimming with humans. Would you swim beside one of these ocean titans or admire from a distance? 36. The giant catfish. Now back to the riverbanks, where one fisherman reeled in a catfish nearly 9 feet long, weighing 280 pounds. This thing wasn't a fish, it was a river monster. Landing took over an hour, and the struggle was real. Imagine getting pulled in by your dinner. 35. The giant swan. Swan, more like boss bird. This giant swan in a backyard standoff is 5 feet long, spreads its wings like a kite, and hisses like something from a horror film. Don't let the grace fool you. This swan holds its ground against a large dog and wins the standoff. Pretty, but fierce. 34. Shoebill stork. At 34, meet the bird that looks like a statue until it blinks and makes a sound like that of a gunfire, the shoebill stork. It stands over 4 feet tall with a massive shoe-shaped beak. And that's not just for show, it uses it to hunt snakes, fish, even baby crocodiles. It barely moves, rarely blinks, and has the stare of a horror movie villain. As scary as the shoebill stork might look, they are considered one of the 5 most desirable birds in Africa. They are docile with humans, and they show no threatening behavior. So if you see one in front of your door, don't get scared, she's here to play. But here's a question for you. Could you stand still like this bird for hours? How long do you think you'd last? 33. Goliath bird eater, spider. Spider lovers, brace yourselves. Deep in the rainforests of northern South America, a monster crawls among the leaves. Caught on camera and stretching nearly a foot wide, the Goliath bird eater is the largest spider in the world, bigger than a dinner plate. Despite its name, it rarely eats birds. Covered in ultra-sensitive hairs, this spider detects the tiniest vibrations around it, and when prey gets close, it strikes. Its fangs, almost an inch long, sink deep and inject venom to paralyze its victim. 32. Galapagos giant tortoise. Next on our list is a creature so ancient and immense, it feels like a dinosaur that's still roaming our planet. Say hello to the Galapagos giant tortoise, the largest land reptile alive today. These colossal tortoises can weigh up to 900 pounds and measure over 4 feet tall at the shell. They thrive across the Galapagos Islands and can live for well over 100 years, with some even reaching close to 175 years. Imagine that one tortoise could have been alive when the Wright brothers took flight. Galapagos tortoises have evolved unique shell shapes depending on their habitat. On dry islands, they sport saddle-shaped shells and longer necks to reach taller cacti, while those on lush islands have domed shells and shorter necks. These giants move slowly, grazing on grasses, leaves, cactus, and fruits. They rest up to 16 hours a day, basking in the sun or cooling off in mud wallows. And here's a crazy survival trick. They can go up to a year without water or food, living off stored fat and moisture from plants. 31. Fruit-eating bat. Flying in at number 31 is one of the largest bat species on the planet, the fruit-eating megabat, found only in the Philippines. Also known as the giant golden-crowned flying fox, this bat has a wingspan that can stretch up to 5.5 feet wide. Weighing in at around 2.5 pounds, it might not sound heavy, but when you see it hanging upside down with those massive wings folded like a cloak, it's a sight you won't forget. Despite its vampire-like look, this megabat feeds only on fruit, especially figs, and plays a huge role in forest health by spreading seeds across the treetops. They're harmless, shy, and prefer to roost in high, quiet places where they can stay cool during the day. But still, imagine walking into a tree and seeing dozens of these giants staring back at you. Would you be fascinated or freaked out if one of these bats flew over your head at night? 30. Big Bill the pig. Meet a pig so massive, it needed a whole yard to itself. This was Big Bill, a Yorkshire hog from Tennessee. He weighed a staggering 2,550 pounds and measured 9 feet long. That's longer than a sofa and heavier than a polar bear. He couldn't move far, but when he did, it was like watching a freight train made of bacon. Guinness certified him as the largest pig ever recorded. Imagine that on your farm. 29. Andean condor. Now we take to the skies. The Andean condor holds the record for the largest wingspan of any flying land bird. That's over 10 feet wide. In this clip, one condor walks right up to a man, nuzzles him, and then spreads its wings like a sky king. This bird can glide for over 100 miles without flapping. If that is not legendary, I don't know what is. If you had wings that wide, where would you fly first? Let us know in the comments. 28. Moose. Most people know moose are big, but not this big. This clip shows a giant moose crossing a road in Alaska. It stands nearly 1.5 feet taller than the nearby SUV and just as long. We're talking about a creature that can easily top 10 feet when you include the antlers. It moves slowly, like it owns the place. And honestly, it probably does. 27. Green anaconda. Slithering in next is the heaviest snake on Earth, the green anaconda. It might not be the longest, but at over 27 feet and 500 pounds, it is built like a tank. This snake can ambush and swallow prey whole: deer, capybaras, even jaguars. With eyes and nostrils on top of its head, it stays hidden underwater while scanning the surface. No venom, just muscle. 26. Elephant seal. From slithering to splashing, meet the elephant seal, the largest seal species on Earth. These giants can grow up to 20 feet long and weigh more than 8,000 pounds. They dive deeper than submarines and stay underwater for 2 hours at a time. On land, they are loud, territorial, and ready to fight, or flop. Either way, it is epic. 25. Big Jake the horse. Say hello to Big Jake, the tallest horse ever measured. This Belgian draft horse stood at 6 feet 10 inches at the shoulder. That's without lifting his head. He weighed 2,500 pounds and needed a double-sized stall just to move around comfortably. Gentle, powerful, and officially a Guinness World Record holder. Big Jake wasn't just big, he was monumental. 24. Leatherback sea turtle. The leatherback sea turtle is the largest sea turtle on Earth. It can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh over 2,000 pounds. Instead of a hard shell, it has a tough, leathery back perfect for long migrations. These gentle giants feed mostly on jellyfish and travel thousands of miles every year. Think of them as the quiet ocean cruisers that keep marine life in check. 23. Elk. At number 23, we're back on land with a forest heavyweight. This elk walked out of the woods, faced down an SUV, and didn't even blink. Standing 5 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing over 1,200 pounds, this animal looked ready for a traffic stop. With antlers raised and chest out, this was not just any deer, it was the boss of the forest. 22. Darius the rabbit. This next animal might be soft and fluffy, but it is no ordinary bunny. Meet Darius, the world's biggest rabbit. He was once owned by a former glamour model, Annette Edwards. Darius is a Flemish giant rabbit, which is the largest rabbit breed on Earth. He measures an astonishing 1.3 meters in length and weighs around 50 pounds. That is bigger than a baby goat. And his appetite is just as oversized. Every year, Darius munches through 2,000 carrots, 700 apples, and a bale of hay every single week, along with specially formulated rabbit food. All that snacking adds up to more than $6,000 a year. Despite his size, Darius is gentle and calm, a true gentle giant of the animal world. But with ears like paddles and paws bigger than most cats, this bunny certainly earns his place on the list. 21. Bald eagle. You've heard of bald eagles. You've seen them on flags and in photos. But seeing one up close, that's different. This eagle stands over 3 feet tall, with a wingspan of more than 7 feet. It can dive at 100 miles per hour and snatch prey from the water with precision. The sharp beak, the piercing eyes. This is what power looks like with feathers. 20. African elephant. This clip shows one strolling past a car like it is a toy. Then it walks past a full-sized van and still looks massive. These giants can weigh over 14,000 pounds and stand taller than 13 feet. And yet, they move with a strange kind of grace. Massive, peaceful, powerful. 19. Grouper. This grouper is the underwater equivalent of a freight train. When it was caught, the fishermen realized it weighed more than the boat could hold. The boat's limit was 500 pounds. The fish weighed over 800 pounds. These reef giants are deep-sea ambush predators, and this one nearly tipped the boat. 18. Jack the kangaroo. Hopping in at 18 is a roux with the body of a heavyweight fighter. Jack the kangaroo stood 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighed over 200 pounds. With his broad chest and boxer-like stance, he looked ready for a UFC match. Kangaroos are known to be muscular, but Jack, he was built like a tank. 17. Siberian tiger. Lions may be kings in stories, but in real life, the Siberian tiger reigns supreme. This tiger weighed over 700 pounds, almost twice the size of other big cats nearby. It did not roar. It did not charge. It simply walked in and every animal cleared the way. That is power without a sound. Who do you really think is the king of the jungle, the lion or the tiger? 16. Albino nutria. At 16, we have something spooky. The albino nutria. It looks like a rat the size of a chihuahua, with glowing red eyes and a ghostly coat. Nutrias are huge semi-aquatic rodents, capable swimmers, and incredibly fast when threatened. This one is no lab rat. It's the boss of the swamp. 15. Giant river fish, sturgeon. 2 men, 1 river, and a fish the size of a crocodile. This giant sturgeon nearly pulled a fisherman into the water. It took both men to control it and safely release it. These fish can grow over 20 feet long and weigh more than a ton. This one came with a fight and a rescue. 14. Tibetan Mastiff. Next up is a dog that looks more like a lion. The Tibetan Mastiff is thickly furred, fiercely loyal, and incredibly massive. One of the largest on record weighed over 250 pounds. They gallop like ponies and stare like kings. Despite their size, they are gentle, emotional, and surprisingly independent. 13. Camel, dromedary. Welcome to the desert. This dromedary camel is the tallest of all camel species, standing over 6.5 feet tall at the shoulder. They weigh more than 1,300 pounds and can go weeks without water. Their humps store fat, not water, a clever trick for desert survival, and their milk, packed with nutrients and used for centuries. 12. Giant boar. Time for some muscle and tusks. Caught digging through trash like a rebel, this giant boar towered over the bin. Some of these wild beasts have been recorded at over 1,100 pounds. They are strong, stubborn, and built to push through just about anything. This one looked like a 4-legged bulldozer. 11. Giant centipede. Creeping in next is a nightmare you don't want crawling on your ceiling. This giant centipede might be the most terrifying pet anyone could own. Most grow to about 30 centimeters, but this one reaches a shocking 42 centimeters. That's over 16 inches of pure nightmare fuel. Its bite delivers venom strong enough to take down prey 15 times its size. Definitely not a creature for the faint-hearted. 10. Poncho the steer. Meet Poncho, a gentle giant with horns wider than most cars. His span? Over 10 feet across, wider than the Statue of Liberty's head. People had to back up just to take a proper photo. He is calm, kind, and utterly unforgettable. The definition of big with style. 9. Samson the cat. This is Samson, the biggest cat in New York. He weighs 28 pounds and stretches over 4 feet long, longer than most toddlers are tall. No, he is not overweight, just naturally massive. Samson lives like royalty, gets premium grooming, and still purrs like a lap cat. 8. Tasmanian giant crayfish. Now this is what happens when crustaceans go prehistoric. The Tasmanian giant freshwater crayfish can grow to over 30 inches long and weigh 11 pounds, the size of a house cat with claws strong enough to snap fingers. They live in cold rivers, grow slowly, and are protected by law. Ancient, rare, and powerful. 7. Manta ray. Manta rays are the largest rays in the world, with an average wingspan of 7 meters. Just look at this diver. He looks tiny next to this ocean giant. The heaviest manta ray ever recorded weighed around 5,000 pounds. That's as heavy as a full-grown rhino. It was so massive, they needed a crane just to move it. 6. Giant snail. This giant snail is more than 6 times the size of your average garden snail. It can grow as long as a human arm, from the fingertips all the way to the elbow. When fully stretched out, it reaches 40 centimeters in length, almost as big as a typical house cat. It may sound like something from science fiction, but this giant snail is very real. 5. Giraffe. Forrest. This is Forrest, the tallest giraffe ever recorded. He stands at 18 feet 8 inches and was measured at Australia Zoo with a custom pole. That is taller than a 2-story house. He has fathered 12 calves and lives the life of a conservation ambassador, a skyscraper with spots. 4. Giant goat. M. Maroc. You don't expect a goat to weigh more than a bear, but M. Maroc did. This record-breaking goat stood 1.5 meters tall and weighed over 700 pounds before his early death. Most goats are spry and nimble. This one was a wall of wool and power, completely one of a kind. 3. Miracle the giant chicken. Most chickens are under 6 pounds. Miracle weighs 17. He is nearly 1 meter tall and looks like a feathered bulldog. Strutting around his Russian farm, Miracle turns heads with every step. He is not just a chicken, he is a barnyard boss. 2. Giant squid. For centuries, the giant squid was a sailor's myth. Now we have proof. This young squid was captured on video gliding through the water. It measured over 12 feet and was still growing. With long arms and eyes the size of dinner plates, it is easy to see why people thought it was the Kraken. Terrifying, beautiful, real. 1. Cassowary. Meet the cassowary, a bird that looks like it belongs in a dinosaur exhibit. Standing nearly 6 feet tall and weighing over 150 pounds, this flightless predator has a 5-inch claw on each foot. When threatened, it kicks, and that kick can be deadly. This clip shows a cassowary attacking a man. There have been over 150 recorded injuries and even deaths caused by cassowary attacks. In 2019, one man was killed by his pet cassowary in Florida. In another case, a mother and child barely made it to safety when 2 cassowaries rushed them in Australia. With their vibrant blue faces, helmeted heads, and prehistoric stare, they are both stunning and fearsome. This is the creature that made us stop and say, that should not exist. The cassowary earns its place at number 1, not just for size, but for impact. And there you have it, the 40 biggest creatures ever caught on camera. From colossal crocs and record-breaking pigs to killer birds and ocean shadows, we've seen just how wild and massive the animal kingdom can get. Which one shocked you the most? And if you could see one in person safely, which would it be? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this series, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the wild world is full of surprises, and we're just getting started.